Hi everybody, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here with Renee Gauvin and I am so excited to interview her. I think a lot of you are going to really relate to her story. So welcome Renee, thank you for being here with me.
Thanks, Justin.
Yeah. So can we just start off by, I'd love it if you could just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you live, what you do. Obviously those are your beautiful paintings behind you. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and your creative background and currently what you're up to.
Let's see, and you can stop me if I start getting sidetracked. But I said I've always identified as an artist, and I really have. I mean, ever since I was a little kid, that's what I was.
Me too.
You
yeah.
do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, and there, I'm sure many of us did.
Yeah.
And I got chosen to go to a special arts school when I was in high school,
Cool.
and that was a big honor. And so there, of course, I was going to go on to college and go to design school, right? And I started that for a year, and some things happened, and I just decided it didn't feel right. Not the design, not the art part of it, but the how out of kilter my life felt, and I needed solidity, I guess. And I ended up getting married and having a family, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm determined. I'm gonna have a regular life, a normal life, and be a mom. And I want to be a mom. So I'll do what my mom did, which was become a teacher. So she has her summers off. So I went to education school, and that's what I did. And I did, yeah. I mean, I actually did love it. I loved early childhood development. To me, it was fascinating, and my kids were little at the same time. So I did that for a long time. And I'm going to use the word doula. Some people don't know what that is, and I worked for a program called Parents as Teachers in Missouri, but it was actually mandated through the school district. So we visited homes and the families. Every parent had this option if they wanted to sign up for
Cool.
a parent. They know.
Wow.
Parent educator or doula.
That's amazing.
Doula would start coming early, like before the baby was born, and help and bring things and just be a friend. And because extended families are spread out so much now, and that used to be the place of the aunt or the grandmother. Anyway, so I did a lot of that, and that was really interesting. I loved it for a long time. And then I taught preschool for a Title I program when I was a single parent and I needed a better income. And this school district, it was a poor school district. But I got to teach the 4-year-olds anyway and get paid as a full-time. And I loved that. But then I started getting sick, and I didn't know I was really getting sick. I just realized that I just hurt, and I couldn't keep up, and I was canceling things that I loved. That was the strange thing. Of like I could always make it to a band, that I wanted to hear play, always. And I realized, I don't feel so good.
And when was this? When was this?
That was around 2003 or 2004. Okay. And I kind of limped along, changing jobs, not being successful. It was very, very hard, very kind of humiliating. I felt like a failure, as a mom, because I was trying to keep up with everything. And so, I didn't realize, I didn't get diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis until like 2011.
Oh my gosh, so you suffered for that long.
And I look back on it, I'm like, what? How would I have handled it any differently? I don't know. But maybe, not knowing was better, because I never thought I was sick. I never thought I was sick.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought, oh, I'm doing too much.
Yeah. It's easy to brush that kind of stuff aside. Like, oh, I'm just tired because of whatever. Yeah.
Right. It was a busy, stressful week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, I hate this about myself. So this cheek is swollen, and I'm going to get surgery in August for my jaws. I didn't realize how badly they...
Oh my goodness. So hard. Well, gosh, you can't even tell from here.
Always the silver lining, and the silver lining has been that I get to do art all the time.
Amazing. So that all began in about 2011 when you got diagnosed. You just started making more art.
Yeah. It was around the same time I met my husband. I met him in 2009, and he was pushing me, and and my children are grown up now.
Mm-hmm.
And so
you have time.
I have loads and loads and loads.
Yeah. Look at you. I am the opposite of that.
I don't know how you do it.
Well, I work a lot less these days than I used to, having a new baby in the house. That's for sure. But
it's hard to get into a project and then have to stop.
Yeah. It is. I'm starting to get used to working in small chunks, though. It's becoming more like, okay, this is just how it is now. But man, I miss having those long stretches of time to just paint and do whatever. So that sounds amazing. So yeah, tell us about your work. I mean, I know those are your paintings behind you. So is that your primary medium, paint? Tell us if you can about what you have been creating, and then what led you to Pattern Camp and wanting to start making some of your work more digital and wanting to learn how to use Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, because I know you didn't really have any experience with those before you landed on my Pattern Camp doorstep.
Thanks to Molly Hatch, who I'm not like intimate friends with. She might call me here comes my kitty. I'm a stalker.
No.
She doesn't know me.
Her work is awesome. And I've never met her personally either, but she seems like such a lovely person, and I've heard nothing but great things about her.
And I had taken one of her classes.
Yeah.
That me to you. But I originally... I was always into watercolors, and I still love watercolors. I just love watercolors. And I loved to draw, too. The pencil, and just a gray pencil and paper, and watching something evolve. There was something magical and so peaceful about sitting and drawing a human face, and then it wasn't. It felt kind of spiritual, maybe, in a way.
I totally get that.
It wasn't mine. It wasn't really mine.
I know exactly what you mean. Sorry to interrupt you, but I have this experience, not with every piece that I create at all, but sometimes when afterwards I'll look at it and think, where did that come from? Like, I didn't just make that. That came from somewhere else, not me. It's cool. It's a really amazing feeling.
Sting, if you ever get a chance to listen to Sting's TED Talk, it's a more recent one, he talks about that creative process.
Ooh. Okay, I'll find that and I'll link to it below this video, because I think people would really like listening to that.
And I think in a way I betrayed something in myself by not doing art for a really long time. And all these outside influences just kind of pushed me back into it. But I took a course in 2009 in oil color. acrylics, but I do not like acrylics. Sorry to say.
That is perfectly all right.
I like oils, not because I'm a snob about it, but the feel of them, just to me feels more it doesn't dry as fast. So I started painting, and the first few paintings are really tight, and then I had a teacher, Ed King, who just kind of said, a good painting doesn't have to be a perfect painting. And so that kind of allowed me to loosen up a bit.
That's awesome. Those people who tell you those little gems of wisdom it's just so key. I had a professor in college who said something similar to me when I was just overworking every single painting that I was creating. And he said, don't get precious with your paintings. Like, they're just paintings. Don't get precious. And for some reason that has stuck with me ever since. And every time I'm like focusing on something too much, I'm like, don't get precious. It's just a painting. So it's nice. It's helpful. Yeah.
He's great. And we support each other on Facebook. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
So what led you to wanting to learn how to make patterns?
Okay, so I kind of got involved in the art community in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and through that, somebody mentioned to me, have you ever heard of art licensing? And I said, no, licensing my artwork out to
what
people?
Does that mean? Yeah, how does that work? Yep,
like,
been there.
I did it for a while, and
yep.
So I Googled it, and then I just kept Googling and Googling and Googling, and people like Tara Reid had tons and tons of stuff, and Joan Barringer, I'm not sure if I pronounce her name right.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
She has a ton of connections, websites, and things that you can in her blogs.
Yeah,
hers are really well organized and easy to access. And then I got from the library that book that had, like, I don't know the name of it, but it has all the agents and all the art directors and everything for every and it's about that thick.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and I can't remember what it's called either. I'll try to find that, and yeah, it'll come to me later.
We got like 2007 from the library.
Yeah.
But if you buy it, it's really expensive. So don't buy it. But because I don't know, maybe buy it if you need to. But anyway, I went to certain areas that I thought my art fit into, and I just started going down and checking off and calling people. Really not knowing what I was doing. And
That's how you start, though. I mean, when I started doing this, I had no idea what I was doing either. I mean, in many ways, I still don't know what I'm doing. We just figure it out as we go, right?
One of the other gems was you're going to receive, if you want to do this art licensing thing, you better just get ready and for rejection, because you're going to be rejected. You're going to be rejected. And I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that's true. Maybe there's a more positive way to spin it, but...
But that was the message, and I was like, okay, I can do this. I know there's, like, going to be a learning, when I'm just getting started, I should be expecting to be rejected, which is great. Not fun. But actually, really, most art directors and agents and people are so kind, especially if they know you're a new young artist trying to get into the field. They are very nice, as long as you don't try to take too much of their time. So, but I hit Paul Cohen by accident, and he asked me where I got that telephone number. So it must have been some old telephone number that he had. Anyway, Paul Cohen is the art agent for Creative. And he helped he's been in the business like forever and never helped get Mary Engelbreit started and stuff.
Okay.
So we just chatted. I did at that point, it was just a voice on the other end. So I didn't know he was an important person.
Well, lucky you. That worked out well.
Well, I do have a website, and so I gave him my URL to my mess of a website, and I think he looked at it online, and he's like, you're, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but this is what we call the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh. But he saw a couple good, I guess, and he gave me a few tips, and then I just followed up with a thank you email, and then a few days later, and he had given me a suggestion, so I applied the suggestion that he gave me, and a few days later, he sent me like a little note saying, I'm going to put some pieces together in a little tear sheet. It's not impressive. It's here. I'm giving you the URL to it. So, and it's a little bit over a year old, but I'm gonna pass it around and and we'll see what happens. So that's kind of where I am. My art was, always kind of messy, is kind of unfinished, doesn't have that, that finished look.
But it's beautiful. I mean, I've been staring at it behind you this whole time, and it's, it's beautiful.
Thank you. So, so is a lot of other people's artwork, so there, that's the other thing is like the competition is really, really tough out there, but I can do it. I'm determined. And I took a class through Molly Hatch because I was so impressed with her stuff at Anthropology. I Googled her, and then she had a class on Creative Live. Mm-hmm. And I took it, and I loved it. And, she just taught the basic, old-fashioned, old-school, cut it into quadrants.
Yep.
It is incredibly hard to make a normal-looking cut.
Good exercise to do, though. Computers make it a heck of a lot easier.
And so... she mentioned your name, though, and talked you up a bit. Mm-hmm. And,
thanks, Molly. That's nice. I didn't know she was going to do that in her class. That was very nice of her. Anyway, sorry, continue.
Yes, well, so I actually Googled you, of course. Mm-hmm. And I've Googled you back and forth. I've looked a couple of times over the course of a year, and actually was intimidated because I don't have any Illustrator or Photoshop skills at all. And I think you remember I wrote you an email and I said, I'm not able to take this class.
Yeah. And I reassured you that you would be fine. And I don't know if I expressed this in my email to you, but you are not the only person who has written me an email like that. I get, at least a handful every time class rolls around. Like, am I in over my head? I'm feeling like I made a mistake. I'm not going to be able to keep up. And I feel like people who are in your position are almost my favorite people to have in pattern camp, because watching the breakthroughs that happen and the crazy amount of learning that you do in such a short period of time is so cool to watch. Like, it's just so fun because it's like I can almost feel the excitement and the frustration, I will add, coming through my computer screen, you know, like, and I can see, I can just feel you guys getting stuck, but you're like almost there. And when you finally make it over that last hump and make that first pattern, it's like, yes, this is why they're here and they're doing it. So.
And believe, you know, if anybody is watching this, actually, believe Jessica can do it. It was like, because I'm the slowest person. Oh my gosh. My kids got so frustrated teaching me how to text. Now they wish they hadn't.
Do you send them like all the emojis and they're like, oh, Mom?
They actually have a flip phone still.
Awesome.
Just wait until then.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, so can you just tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you ran into in the process of, I mean, I know you're still on the learning path, working through the videos and, you know, practicing all the techniques and everything, but you're making patterns and they're looking great and they're looking better and better and better every time you post one in our Facebook group. So I'm just curious, like, what specific challenges did you run into and how did you find a way to move past them, and what was helpful to you?
So the challenges are still there. They're kind of the same challenges, and it's just that I'm unfamiliar with a computer. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I was talking to my husband, who's a computer geek, about, like, some of the names for things. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Why did they name it this when it doesn't apply to the whatever it's doing? You know? And you know, like even, I know it sounds silly, but even like not really knowing how to move the cursor, and you know, I sent you that link to the Amy Schumer and her mom in therapy. And the mom doesn't even know how to open the computer. That's me, because like the apple's the other way around. Oh, and you know, okay, turn on the computer, Mom, and she's looking around, and I turned it on. That was yesterday. I don't remember, and that's exactly.
You know, and it probably sounds so silly to you to say that, but that's just such an important thing. Like,
do you need much longer, or should I give him a bottle?
I think give him a bottle.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm gonna have to edit that part out. Thanks for interrupting me, husband.
Sorry. Edit it out?
Yeah, I can edit that part out.
Oh, that's so cute.
Sorry. Okay, now what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So as, you know, as silly as that might sound to you, like, oh, I couldn't even figure out how to move the cursor at first, or like jokingly, how do you turn on the computer? Like, it's those simple kinds of things that can really stop you from even starting. You know, because if it's so easy to turn that into a whole story, like, oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, I'm too old for this. Oh, I'm never going to be able to figure this out. So why even bother trying?
I don't even know the right question to ask.
Yeah, I don't even know the right question to ask. And thinking about, like, how am I going to put into words? Like, how am I going to email this person who knows what she's doing and try to explain my question, and she's going to think I'm so stupid, and, like, all that stuff.
And you were so not condescending. Thank you. You were so kind. Thank you.
You are welcome. Because I knew you could do it. Because I knew you could do it, and I knew how good it was going to feel. I know how good it does feel when you do it. But, so I guess
And being as accessible and kind as you were, you made me want to figure it out.
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's great to know. That's really good to know. Yeah, I mean, I just know that those stories that we tell ourselves and those, you know, mean things that we tell ourselves, I'm assuming that everyone is like that. Maybe there are some, magical people out there who are not unkind to themselves, but I've never really met one of them. Like those things can just keep us from things that are possible that we didn't even know that were possible. And I think if you're willing to just try and dive into something that is totally brand new, and yeah, maybe you're going to fail. Probably not, but maybe, maybe you're going to have a really hard time and parts of it are going to suck. But, why not try, So I think that's just really inspiring to me that you were like, you know what? I barely know how to use this computer. I'm going to do it anyway and see what happens.
There are things, I would say, there are things that do seem insurmountable to me, and I will give up immediately and just do. But I decided to work through this and say, okay, it's not impossible. But I have to kind of give myself a little bit of a pep talk. Like the 2 new things that I have to learn, I have to kind of give myself a pep talk. But my stomach will hurt. I want to run away.
Yeah.
I want to cry. I want to scream,
Well, you are totally welcome to do all of those things. And then please come back to the computer and just do it.
I will.
Yeah.
And I can't, and then my past experience of learning then gave me the confidence, has given me the confidence to move forward and think, okay. It wasn't that hard. It was just knowing the right button to push.
Yeah. Well, I mean, looking back at where you started, at the beginning of class and looking at where you are now, are you just kind of amazed?
Yes.
Like, it's so cool. You're just making patterns, posting them in the Facebook group. Look what I made, everyone.
I could go through really, really quick. I scan my picture, I get it, I get it in. I don't even use Photoshop. I just bring it into Illustrator. I expand, or image thing, whatever.
Trace.
What?
Image trace.
Image trace.
Yep.
Then expand. Then I go to my paint bucket. I bring it over, and then I start picking out colors. And then I get it all, sometimes I don't even color the whole thing and I get impatient. I want to see what it looks like as a pattern. So I go up to object, pattern, make, boom.
Look at you. You even know how to do it and you're not even looking at it on your computer screen. It's like, it's in here.
It almost seems like a little bit too simple now. But so I need to start challenging myself to do other things.
Well, that's great though. I mean, you've mastered that bit, and then you can expand on each new thing that you master. So you're doing it.
And I think the real fun part is actually, it's the artistic part, the colors and how they work together, especially colors and patterns in, how they work together.
It's that's my favorite part too. Yeah.
And that's where the talent really comes in.
Yes. Yeah, and I know you mentioned before we started recording this that you have, I think you said your sketchbook right down there on your desk. Do you have anything that you can show us, just like how your patterns have started, or like what?
This is my 100-day challenge.
Let's see it.
I decided to do. Just for the heck of it. Actually, more as a challenge to me because I'm so ADD that I don't stick with things, and I wanted to see if I would actually stick with it. And so usually I'm doing my thing like right before I go to bed because I've let it go till the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
But I put it out so that I'll do it in a good, easy place to get to it. So this is my 100-day challenge, and there's no rules. It's just watercolors.
Can you hold it up? Yeah, perfect.
And
maybe up a little bit.
It can be anything. Anything.
Awesome. Keeping it real. I get tired of being nice all the time. Totally.
And then my daughter and I painted flowers, but I don't want to turn it into a diary. I just wanted to make it
cute.
fun.
It's important to make something every day. Agreed. Nice. Nice. Very cool.
What's that?
So I'm curious if you have any wisdom that you can share with people who may be, not wisdom, don't think, any words of advice that you could share with somebody who may be, wanting to sign up for Pattern Camp, number one, because obviously that's part of my reason for doing these interviews, is that I want to inspire more people to come to Pattern Camp because it's an awesome place to hang out and learn these new skills, but also just to do, anything that they may be afraid of, because ultimately, in the bigger sense, that's really what I hope to inspire people to do, is to reach for something that they may not see as possible for themselves and surprise themselves, like you've done. So do you have any advice that you can share with somebody who may be afraid to take that step towards something that is brand new and seems really scary?
Right. And I've been there so many times, and it seems like taking the little step. And I know that's very cliche, but it's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you can break down that big thing into something really, really small and start, then you started at least. I will say, with Pattern Camp, and I might get teary-eyed, but not everybody is as nice as you and as supportive as the group that we've had here.
We really do have an amazing group. Yeah. I know, it makes me feel a little bit teary too when I think about it sometimes. Like, I thought it would be really fun to create a community of people that all love patterns, but it's just like the best place to hang out. It's so inspiring, and everyone is so kind and supportive, and I'm so glad that you feel that way too.
And being at home and doing art by myself, it's so fun. I think, I check the Facebook page in the morning. That's one of the first things I like to do. You had mentioned, what was one of your favorite things, and what turned out to be one of my favorite things is the weekly challenge.
Yeah.
I think I really love a little challenge, something to spur my creativity, something to get me thinking in a different way. Yeah.
My favorite thing about that is how oftentimes people will post like, oh, when you first posted the theme this week, I thought, ew, I really don't like that theme. What am I going to do? And then you start playing with it and coming up with ideas, and then create some pattern that you never would have created before, with that theme or just with that idea. And it just turns into a really fun surprise.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's, Yeah, definitely. Or like for me with the paisleys, I thought paisley was going to be like, oh, I can get this.
I can do that.
It's going to be so great. You wait till you see my paisley. They were so hard.
So the opposite can happen.
I'm not done yet. I'm going to keep going.
That's funny.
Back to those paisleys.
Yeah, well, and that's the nice thing. There's a new theme posted every week, but there's also a list of all the past themes that you can click over to if you need some, if you're stuck, and you're like, oh, I want to make a pattern, but I don't know where to start. Just go back to that list of themes that we've already done before and choose one of those and do it again.
And then I was cheating. I really, really cheated on the yellow and the gray because I used some of my old sketches and recolored them. It's like, oh, that
perfect.
Yeah, great.
If you want to know a secret, I think a lot of people do that when a color theme comes along. They're like, oh, perfect. All I have to do is recolor it and I'm done. Yep, you're not the only one.
It's my favorite gray thing.
Aww.
Go get her really
Yeah.
quick.
Let's see that kitty before we sign off.
She's actually sitting where I usually am.
Aww.
So,
Hi, sweet kitty. Oh, she looks like our neighbor cat, Bo. My gray kitty has some white on her, but our neighbor cat, Bo, is all gray, just like her. Very sweet.
her name is Buttons, and
Hi,
she
Buttons.
has buttons on her collar.
Oh, she's adorable. We love cats at pattern camp. She's very sweet. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I think this is going to inspire a lot of people, just hearing a bit about your story and some of the challenges that you've worked through. So thank you so, so, so much, and I can't wait to see what you keep creating.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, every challenge that life brings you doesn't have to be terrible. It can.
Those are words of wisdom that are the perfect way to end this conversation. It's all in the way that you choose to experience it, right? Every challenge can suck if you want it to.
Right.
Or it doesn't have to. You're totally right.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So great to chat with you.
And when you want to come to Annapolis,
I will let you know. Oh my gosh, and my aunt who lives there would love that. I haven't seen her in years, so it would be a doubly good reason. All right, thanks so much, Renee.
Thanks, Jessica.